Welcome, everybody. Let me make sure that my audio is working here. Okay, looking good. Sorry for being a minute or so late. My PC was crashing, and I had to switch over to my Mac at the last minute. But anyway, here we are. Glad you could all make it here this evening. And today we're going to spend some time talking about monetizing websites. So I think we initially talked about it as e-commerce, but what we're really looking at is total website monetization. And there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. Um, and I'm going to be going through a spreadsheet tonight with a lot of those ideas. So you should know that you can access that sheet right here on our class page. So at conferencereg.com, session 5, e-commerce and website monetization, you can just click right there. And I'll try to remember before our session's over to send that out. Make sure, there we go, the screen's showing now. So here under conferencereg.com, just on our homepage there where we have our class listed, you can come down here and under session 5, e-commerce and website monetization, just click right there. So today I'm going to be showing you that spreadsheet in a couple of minutes. We're going to spend some time installing and looking at WooCommerce, which is by far the most dominant platform for e-commerce on WordPress. And some of you may be interested in selling products or services or classes online. There are a lot of different things that you can do with that. So we'll go through a bunch of them. And you may also start out at one level and then keep advancing. So for example, if you don't want to be doing order fulfillment or making your own products, then you can tie on with an affiliate type program. And we'll go through what some of those options are today. There are also things for self-publishing, for putting classes online, a lot of different ways that you can make a little bit of money here and there off of a website. And then, of course, the important thing is not just having the content up there, but you have to, have audience and reach. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but we'll go further into that next week when we talk about search engine optimization and analytics. And then in our session 7, we're going to talk about digital outreach. So if you look at the way we've progressed, it's starting with just getting a site set up, learning a little bit about how WordPress works, features and functions, putting a nice layer on it for a theme design and implementation, then how to put in monetization options so you can make some money off of your site. Here's how you get the search engines to be able to find you so that when people are out there looking, it draws them in. And learning about what's going on when people visit your site and ways you can analyze your data from any type of business that you have. And then from that point, you're ready to go. So this is your launch period where you then start sending out information and basically advertising the completed site that's hopefully ready to bring you in some revenue or accomplish whatever goals you're out there to accomplish. It's not all about the money, but it's nice to have it. So that's on the our overall agenda. We'll be logging in and looking at setting up WooCommerce in the back end when we get to that point. And the next thing though is this spreadsheet. So you can see the ways I have some of this broken down. There are probably others that aren't here, but I'll keep adding to those as they come to mind. As there's new platforms out there, there are often new ways to make money off of your own site. So we'll be talking today about different types of affiliate programs and also how to set up your own affiliate program. So for example, you can tie in with somebody like an Amazon or eBay or even Home Depot, any place, well, there are a lot of them, that offer affiliate type programs where you can sell their products on your website. And then you're not responsible for any fulfillment, warranties, customer service, or any of that. Basically, they place the order through your site, but Home Depot or Nordstrom's or whoever else is doing the fulfillment, Amazon, they actually ship the product, bill the customer, collect the payment, and then you get a percentage of that payment. And that can vary quite a bit based on based on specifics of the platform and the amount of the sale and how much you sell. So there are a lot of variables that go into that. It's not a finite amount, but it all adds up. And if you can get traffic going to your site and to use search engine optimization to get you to come up, pretty high in the rankings, then you can be in a good position to leverage that and have your site accomplish whatever you want it to accomplish. Then I want to say, building revenue, but I know a lot of people that are building sites for nonprofits and that sort of thing too. And this is just a side thing. So they might be more interested in getting their mission out there. Well, this is also a way that you could then fund your operations, even if it's not about making money for yourself for income. It could be making money to support your cause and be able to pay for more resources to advertise and accomplish your goals. So we'll talk about affiliate programs, different ways to advertise and make money from that, paid subscription service, member-only content, and then direct e-commerce, which is what most people think of. And then we'll talk a little bit about what it takes to make the effort successful. So let's start with Amazon, since they're kind of the big player on the block, especially these days. Amazon has a Amazon Associates program, and again, this link is going to be on the page here. So if you look at how our spreadsheet's laid out, here's the Amazon program, an example, and then here's a link to sign up for the program, and here's a link to the example site. So we'll be looking at some of these as we go through, but you don't need to worry about writing all that down because you're going to have all of this. In fact, what I'll do right now, so you don't even have to go back to the web page, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to send it to everybody in the chat box. So when this comes through in chat, you can click that link and bookmark it. And that way you can come back and refer to all of this later without needing to go back to the website, to our class website. All right, so again, we're going to take a look at the Amazon program, and Ken Rockwell is a photographer who does reviews, and I'll show you how he uses it. So you can go straight up with whatever you're interested in. So suppose, for example, you were interested in hiking, then find something that you're passionate about and try to figure out how to, use that as your main, I guess your main market, because your community, if you know what you like and you like the other people that seem to be a community that shares those interests, then it's helpful to work in that community because then you're passionate about it and you get more done and you feel better about what you do every day. So what you can do here is be selective about the products that you show. So if I were to join here, you can see 10% advertising fees. So you'll get used to some of the terminology in these programs. You're either an advertiser or a publisher. Advertisers typically pay into the program, and the publishers are the people that have the websites. So people like you and I. And I've successfully before with the specifically job boards. So I was setting up job boards that were bringing in revenue every month without me having to do anything. And I basically, well, I'll show you how in a little while because we're going to be looking at that as one of the options. So this is Amazon. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. And once you do sign up, you can see it says up to 10%. I believe that some of them are smaller. It depends on what you're advertising and what level you're at. So you can see here they show the percentage they pay out on any type of sales. All right, so you see where that's at. But you can be very selective too. So you can say, again, if I were into hiking, I can show only products related to hiking. If I'm into sustainability, I can show only things that help reduce waste. Whatever it is that I might be interested in, whatever the topic of my website is, that's where I would want to focus. Then you can have multiple websites, but you're better off having what a lot of people are going to is microsites. So suppose, for example, even you liked hiking gear, instead of doing one website around hiking gear, you do one website focused on backpacks, another website focused on hiking boots, another website focused on hiking poles, because by doing that, you can really dominate in search engine optimization. So if I'm selling hiking poles, I might be competing against, say, an REI, or I don't know what the other big outdoor stores are out there. Even Walmart probably has hiking sticks. So I could be competing against these big retailers, but they're not optimizing their site for just that product. So if I have just that product and I make my whole site about nothing but hiking poles, eventually, as long as I do some decent search engine optimization, my site is going to come up #1 on hiking poles for anybody who does a search on it. And since hosting and everything is so expensive these days, you can often get a hosting platform for $20 or $30 a month where you can put 10 or 15 websites. So you could have one for hiking poles, one for backpacks, one for shoes. And instead of having one big broad website where you are competing against the REIs of the world and the, I don't know, Dick's Sporting Goods, places like that, now when you optimize for that one product, you're much more likely to come up ahead of them because they don't optimize for that. I doubt if you did a search for hiking poles that you're going to pull up a store like that, but you can look and see, and that's the other way to test it. And we'll be talking about some of the tools to do that too. So Amazon is one of them. They provide a lot of resources for you. And again, it can just be a whole side thing where it's not even really what your site's about. And let me see if I've got, I'm going to pull up the Ken Rockwell site because I think he does something that's pretty interesting in terms of, he's very open about the fact that he gets a commission. But the important part is the way he does it. So he brings something to the table. He's not just putting something out there and saying, please buy this from me. What he does is camera reviews. And so every time a new camera product comes out, he writes a review on it. And he's very unbiased. So he tries to write, he doesn't, usually if you're in the camera world, there's a big battle between Canon and Nikon, who's better, all this stuff. The fact is they generally leapfrog each other. If you want to know the truth, Canon's better some years and Nikon's better some years, and they tend to jump over each other and they keep each other moving forward, which is the beauty of competition. But anyway, you can see he comes in and does all these reviews. And then as any new product comes out, he adds reviews for those. But then when you want to buy the product, like, so let's just say this Sigma lens, if I go into it, he lists all the lenses that are out there that he's reviewed. Then you can click any lens to go to the review. And the point is that once you see it, if you like it, he wants you to buy it from him, or buy it from his website. So if you clicked here, and then you can see he says, please help kenrockwell.com. What he wants you to do is go here, and he says that if you're buying any books, use these links. So he's straight up about it. And as you use these links, he gets a commission. So you can see, for example, and this is further along than the last time I saw it. In the past, he would just have a link to the product in his review and said, if you're going to buy it, please buy it through me. And then that's what keeps him able to spend his time doing all these reviews that help people make purchasing decisions. So that's how he funds it. So that's Ken Rockwell. Another publishing tool that you can use is Indeed. Indeed is now the largest job board in the world, and you can become a job publisher. So what I did in the past, and I just let it slip because I had more important things to do, really, but I put up job boards, and I got them to rank #1 when people did searches. So for example, if somebody searched on recycling jobs, my recyclingjobs.com website would come up. And once it did, then people click on those jobs, and I get a commission every time they click. So it's very helpful for that. So I was getting probably an average of about $1,000 a month from most of the job boards. From about 6 of them, I was getting 1,000 a piece, and then I bring in a few hundred on several other job boards. But the nice thing was I didn't have to do any work on it. Once I got them to rank highly in the search engines, then what happens is Indeed puts the jobs on your website. So you can see what it talks about here: create a new revenue stream for your business. So again, I'll just use photography as an example. Suppose I have a photography website, then what I can do is show jobs in photography. And so if somebody comes to my website to read my reviews of cameras or something like that, they might want to buy a camera, or they might be interested in a job as a professional photographer. So if I have the Indeed plugin in my site, then I have an Indeed account. Every time somebody comes in and clicks on a job, I make a little bit of money. So the same way that Google makes money and Facebook makes money through advertising, you can make money the same way. And it doesn't have to be the main focus of your site. It should just be jobs related to whatever is the main content of your site. Another one we have is, this is the affiliates WooCommerce Lite. So when we talk about affiliates, we're going to get into WooCommerce in a few minutes here. And WooCommerce, again, is the plugin that we're going to use for e-commerce on our site. Through the affiliates program, you can have your own friends and family and anybody else also be an affiliate for you. So suppose, for an example, you have some type of consulting services and your friend has a Facebook page, and I'm just going to make up, say, dog walking here. So you have a dog walking service and you want to promote that service and get paid to have people walk dogs for other people. And you have friends that have Facebook pages and communities where there are a lot of dogs. Your friend can post their affiliate link through their social media saying something like, hey, if any of you need dog walking services, I'd recommend person A. I know her pretty well. She's great with the dogs, and everybody who works for her and helps her out is also fantastic. So you might want to check her out. And if anybody were to then click on that link and then purchase your services, it would track all of that. So every month, this person would give you their PayPal information. Then every month you could set it up so they automatically get paid a percentage of commission based on whatever you determined it should be. So you might give somebody 10% or 5% or 20% or 50%, completely up to you. But the point is they can, on their websites and their social media pages, promote your products or services and earn money by doing it. So rather than you being an affiliate for Amazon, you have your own affiliates and your own people that are out promoting your product. And that's obviously a way to make a lot higher margin than just promoting somebody else's project. This is one of the bigger affiliate programs, and they give you access to a lot of different types of sales options. So this is called CJ.com, and it's a CJ affiliate program. So if you come in here and take a look at what they got and how they work, this is what we're talking about. So publishers are people like us that have websites or social media, the type of people that gain eyes, basically. So we're just like when a newspaper goes to sell advertising to somebody, that advertiser wants to know what's the reach of the newspaper. What audience do they reach? What are the demographics? How many people are likely to see the ad? And that was what goes into determining how much an advertiser is willing to pay. It's the same thing here. If you build up a social media presence, where, like, for example, on LinkedIn, I have about somewhere between 13,000 and 14,000 followers. So people are willing to pay me to promote stuff through my LinkedIn account. And you don't even have to have it that big. I mean, it also works, again, for websites very well. You don't have to have a massive social media following, as long as it's related to the content. So what happens is you, as a publisher, sign up to be an affiliate, and then advertisers are the people who pay to get their products promoted through your website. and the affiliate is the person who connects the two. So by doing that, you earn a commission, and that's what they're capitalizing on here. So you get some idea of what you can do with this. And let me see if they show um, global opportunities, content opportunities. I haven't looked at this in a little while. Let me check this one out in content. They used to list some of the different stores that advertised with them, and it was pretty deep. It was that are pretty common brand names that you might be surprised. Like, for example, Macy's, Nordstrom's. Let's see here, content opportunity. Looks like they've covered a lot of that up. They used to have it pretty wide open. Advertisers, let's see if they have it here. Some of those stores might not have wanted to be listed here. Well, here are some that you can see. So here's GoPro, Barnes & Noble, Lowe's, Overstock, J. Crew, Office Depot, 24 Hour Fitness, Intercontinental Hotel, Priceline. So that gives you some idea of the level of stores that we're talking about. They're not just little stores trying to make it, they're pretty big brands. And let's see what they show here. Well, some of the places that are publishing accounts. So even a place like CNN or Time, when you see an ad load on the CNN website, there's a good chance that it's an affiliate ad where they're selling for one of these advertisers. So suppose a Barnes & Noble ad pops up on the CNN website, and then you go onto that link in Barnes & Noble and you pay online and buy something, then CNN gets a commission. And that's the same thing we're talking about here, except you're CNN. So the reason they'll make a lot more money than you is they're reaching millions of people every night. But that's the idea. You can build up an audience. And there's actually one website that I put online that I won't go into the details. I'm not here to do any self-promotion. But there's one I put online where I'm created an automated newsletter that's fully automatic. So it goes out and it finds content related to very specific subject matter every day. It pulls it in, it creates a post, and puts it onto a website. And I started that one about 9 months ago, and it's now got 385,000 newsletter subscribers. So if I wanted to convert those people into customers for some type of product line related to the news content, I could start advertising to all of those people. And if they made any purchases, obviously, I'd get a commission off of that. And you can build that same sort of thing. The tools and the things that I'm showing you how to do in this series are all that is needed to do everything here that I'm talking about. Oops, let me get that back up here. And I want to make sure. Okay. Okay, so that's that. And then you can also become a partner on eBay. And just so you know, I told you, I mentioned I'm working on my Mac today, and the panel seems to have gone away from GoToMeeting. Let me see if I can bring that up. I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, we're good. Sorry about the interruption. All right, so as I mentioned, you can become an eBay partner as well. So anything that they sell on eBay, you can also get a commission through. So eBay hasn't seemed to me to be the best option here. I haven't looked at how they're doing it these days. But for example, Amazon just seems to totally be dominating. eBay might be better as a used market, but for new products, it seems Amazon is the place people go. There seems to have been a bit of a breakdown in marketing, I would say, on eBay's part for doing things like this. But you can, again, build ads and campaigns. The one thing I'd be a little bit more concerned about with eBay, it's just in the back of my mind that I don't mean to smear them in any way. I've used eBay a lot, and it's generally been successful. But I've had 3 times, I think, where I paid for a product and never got the product. And so personally, as a consumer, a little bit more suspicious of eBay, where it's one person selling to another person versus a store selling to people. Um, Stores seem to be more accountable at times. But then again, I'm talking about I've probably done a couple hundred transactions on eBay, and that's only happened a few times. So, but it's just how I feel personally as a consumer. So if I were going to do something like this, I would tend to steer more towards an Amazon or another platform that might be more aligned. Here's a page on trying to figure out how much you should charge for ads. Because when we talk about that, let's go back to our spreadsheet. We talked about here Amazon, green job boards, green education. This is what I don't intend to promote personally, but I want to bring it up because it's an area where we use this affiliates WooCommerce Lite. But I want a full disclosure here. I'm a 50% owner of this organization. So let me see green. But I just want to show you how the commission program works. If we have it online right now, we were working on the site earlier. It might be down. Well, I can talk about what it is. So it's an online learning system where people can come in and take classes. They can come in, pay online, and then take classes directly on the website. Then we start with webinars. We offer certifications. San Jose State gives continuing education credits for any classes taken through the platform. So we list our courses out. We have webinars, and then we record the webinars. And there's a certain price if you take the webinar and then go through and do all the quizzes and get the certificate. But then later, those recorded webinars become class content. So people could come on later and take the same class, but they're taking a recording rather than having live interaction. Then we charge less for that. But the reason I wanted to point it out is that using something like a WooCommerce affiliate program like this, anybody who sells those green education courses for us, so say all the people I know in the sustainability world, if they were to send out a link and say, hey, if any of you are interested, there's a new class coming up on green education, and they send our link out, if somebody clicks that link, then they get paid a commission. The person who promoted the link gets paid a commission for the class, for anybody who signs up. There we go. So this is, if you have, say, advertising for your own site, and you want to know how much to charge, this is a good site to figure that out. So we talked about how when somebody wants to pay for advertising, these are some of the things they look at. And these are what some of the pricing models are. So you can have a cost per action, or cost per lead, cost per purchase, cost per click. And those are the common types of way that people are paid. And they give you an idea of how some of that works. So if you're working with somebody, say doing local promotion, so you even go out to some stores in your area, and you say, I have sacramentoretail.com. It's all about walking neighborhoods, and we put up a map of the neighborhood and the stores that we promote there. Would you like to advertise on the site? If so, here's how much it would be. Now, one of the things that you can probably take advantage or leverage at this point is that so few people know how much they should pay and won't even know to ask the right questions. So if you did go into local shops around the community and said, I'm building a website to promote shops in our area, then you might say you'd offer an exclusive. So one flower shop's going to get on, one jewelry store, one clothing store, so that you aren't having people that compete with each other, that those are being promoted and they get exclusive if they pay a certain fee, or they just get a standard advertisement and their competitors can also advertise for another fee. Then you might be able to name your price and figure out what they'll pay based on what you're showing them. And a lot of people won't ask for real numbers or data. There are organizations that track this stuff for major advertisers. So if somebody you were go to somebody like a Nike and say, I want to run, you can run ads on my site. Here's how much it would cost. Their marketing department would probably go and look up your site and get a feel for how much traffic you have going to your site before they pay that. But your local business probably would not do something like that. Here's Google AdSense. So this is another great way to make some money. And there's two things to Google. There's AdSense and AdTools. So you've got one is where you're paying to advertise something, and that's where Google makes all of their money. But in this case, what you're doing is letting Google show their ads through your website. And they're going to customize them. That's what all this tracking and cookies and things are all about. So let's use that same example of hiking and say I'm into hiking and I visit your website, and Google knows that it's me visiting your website because they've put a cookie and they're tracking where I go. When I go to your website, it's going to show me ads based on hiking. If somebody else were into music, it might show an advertisement for a guitar, things like that. So that's where all this spying comes into play on behalf of advertisers, is they want to know what everybody's interests are, so that when they visit different websites or places where Google ads show, Google wants to know what ads to show. And so there's an upside and a downside to this. The downside is obviously all of your personal information and data that's being tracked. The upside is if I were going to see commercials or ads for something, I would definitely rather see ads for something that interests me, like let's say again, hiking gear, than maybe something that doesn't interest me at all, like construction equipment or hair products or something like that. So that's the trade-off. I personally hide myself from pretty much all trackers, but that's a personal decision as long as you know what you're doing. So with AdSense, that's where you can sign up and make money from Google Ads. And then they also have AdTools, which we'll talk about more next week, because you can use those for search engine optimization. So using the tools that they give you, you're building out ads for people who would pay, or you would pay to promote through AdSense. So what's nice about that is that Google wants you to be successful if you're paying for an ad. So you sign up for an account so that you're able to put ads on Google. And then once you have that account, it provides all these different tools for you to write your ad. So you can go in and say, these are the keywords I'm thinking about that I'd want to come up on a search, and it'll help you figure out which words to use to best promote your product. And then it'll tell you how much it's going to cost you to get those words promoted, and the more you pay, the more likely you are to come up, basically. But you can use their tools to create your ad. It'll help you with all the keywords and design. Then just don't place it. So instead of just placing it through Google, you can take all of that content that it helped you optimize for and just bring that content right back into your website. So while Google's not out there promoting it, Google already knows that when people search for the types of things that you want them to find you for, that's what's going to work best. So basically, Google is helping you optimize your Google outcomes. And that's through the advertising account, as if you're going to do paid advertising. But you don't have to actually ever pay for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not underhanded or anything. That's just using the tools that they provide for anybody with one of the advertising accounts. Here's Shutterstock. So here's another way that you can make money, or, well, there's actually two ways here. Shutterstock is a photography website, and it's where a lot of designers and publishers go for content. So they've got millions of images, photos, vectors. So if you are a photographer, you can create an account here where you upload your photographs and tag them, and they basically go right into the Shutterstock system. So people coming and looking for photographs can buy your product, and of course you make a commission. The other thing you can do is sign up as an affiliate. And as an affiliate, you can do the same thing. So you can advertise photos on your website that are somebody else's photos, but you get paid a commission if somebody clicks on that link and buys one of them. WooCommerce. So anybody who's going to be selling through WordPress, this is pretty much the go-to for that. And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time in the second half of the class. We're going to jump into that, which I guess would be in about 20 minutes. So I'll try to hustle through the rest of this and make sure you at least get some exposure. But you have now that link that I sent out, and it's going to be sitting right here on our homepage to come back and refer to this spreadsheet for all of the stuff that we're looking at today. So we've covered, well, we'll see. We're going through the rest of these right now. But others that I might not have mentioned so far include like iTunes. So you can be an iTunes affiliate. You can do software as a service. So conference registration services and that sort of thing where people come in and pay. You can do the eBay partner network, link share with Rakuten, which we'll look at in a minute. And you can also do Amazon self-publishing, where you write a book and you put it on Amazon and sell it yourself. I recently helped another client do that. But with WooCommerce, that's where you're selling all your products online. And you can do anything from, again, registration services to products that you've made or you reorder and sell on your own. It's pretty comprehensive. And you'll find thousands and thousands of plugins for it. So we'll look at that again in the second half of the class. And this is what I was talking about with Google Ads. So you'd want to sign up for an account at ads.google.com. They don't charge you anything, but what they do is set up an account for you so that if you want to advertise, then you can advertise. And you can see here how they talk about what you should do, and they'll help you write the ad. So see, find the right keywords for your business. Go to Keyword Planner. And we'll be spending some more time on this next week. So I'm not going to go very deep into it, but you should be aware that it's there. And what they're doing here is setting up a new campaign for me. So they'll walk me through the whole process of describing, business name, business website, your ad, your budget and reviews, set up billing. I already have an account set up, but I'm not logged into it. And then once that's set up, when you create your ad, it's going to guide you. So it's going to say, hey, if you want to come up first on backpacks, these are some things you should do. And it'll tell you what words to use, and it'll analyze it and tell you how likely you are to get hits on it. And then once it does all that, again, just take that content from the ad and put it into your website. And, since you had coaching from Google, that it's the best way to word the type of information that you're displaying. Now, this is why slow. And I bring this up because it's important if you're going to bring somebody to your site has to load fast. And whyslow.org is a pretty cool tool that should be HTTPS now, but I don't have it saved that way. So with whyslow, you can put in your URL and it'll go through and do a full analysis of why your site's loading slowly and show you exactly what to work on to get it to load faster. This is Rakuten Marketing. That's one that I mentioned earlier that's pretty powerful. So with Rakuten, it's similar to CJ. You can sign up, and they say here they're the #1 affiliate marketing network. I hear them advertising on NFL games all the time now, and I believe there's a stadium in the Bay Area named after them. So you can tell they're doing pretty well and making some money. So it's the same type of thing where it's an influencer campaign. So you can sign up to be an affiliate, and then from that affiliate program, you can promote your brand. So here's protection for your brand. So they're trying to recruit advertisers here, but you can see Wells Fargo is using it. Let's see who else is here. Macy's, JanSport, Echo. I don't know who a lot of these are, but others are pretty much household names. The Boston Globe, Sephora. So these are some pretty big retail names that are using this program. And what you would do is come in here and sign up again as a publisher. So whatever your product line or service is, you can advertise products related to that. And that's a good way to get started, even if you're not ready to start doing order fulfillment yourself, but you want to build up a client base, then you can do something like this. So you come in, you fill out your company information, contact information, your website info, and then they want to know what the minimum amount is. So if you're making, a few dollars a day or $10 a day, then this is the amount that you want to be paid on. I usually set it to 100, but you can start wherever you like. And then every time you accumulate $100, they send you a check. Or depending on the program, they'll just transfer it directly into your PayPal account, which I've always found to be more convenient. With Amazon self-publishing, so that's what I alluded to earlier. You can write a book on your services, which is also a great way to promote yourself. So when you write a book, you think about book sales and how much you're going to make off of book sales. Well, even if you don't make a lot off of book sales, what you can do is promote your services in the book. So especially if you do it as an ebook and you can include live links, then you can have a book about, say, an instruction book on how to go through a certain type of training in a corporation, or how to set up some type of operating system. And if you sell products or services related to that, wherever you mention those services, it can be a link. So they click and come back to you to hire you to perform those services or to provide those goods. You can publish to Kindle, publish to print, publish to audio, all of this right through Amazon. So I know a lot of people who've said they want to write a book on something someday. This just makes it all a lot easier. And here's an example for self-published journal. So self-journal was a no-brainer, and that's what this Damon John wrote. And you can see examples here of other books that people wrote on their own and published through Amazon. So then you write your book, you put it out on Amazon. It's a sales kind of a vector for a business to come back to you through the book, but then you can also give away free copies to clients and potential clients. And they say, wow, this person wrote a book. They must really know what they're talking about or be an expert in the field. And if they read the book, you put enough in there to make them interested without giving away your whole program. Or even if the whole program's in there, it's hopefully more work than they could do on their own. But that's a good way to leverage Amazon and gain benefit through multiple methods using one product. This is Brown Paper Tickets. They also have an affiliate program, and you can create something like this yourself, really. There are programs online for WordPress where you can create an event and sell tickets to the event, and it can work with a QR code scanner. So when people print their tickets or put them on their phones, they just hold their phone up, and anybody else with a phone can scan that ticket and make sure that it's not being used more than once. So you can see here, ticket buyers pay a fee. That's generally how Brown Paper Tickets makes their money. And you can do the same thing on your platform. So just using typical WordPress plugins and maybe a little bit of customization, you can build your own online ticket sales, or it so happens, like here, conferencereg.com. So instead of using Brown Paper Tickets for a conference, you can turn something like this, conferencereg.com, into a conference registration website. And then anybody who's having a conference can pay you for the services of doing all the ticket sales. iTunes is another one that I mentioned in the spreadsheet. And here is, you can see affiliate redefined. So if you're into Apple and you like the way iTunes works, that's all you need to do. So you can sell any type of Apple Music or Apple Books, anything that they sell on iTunes, I believe. I'm not sure how the app works, if you can sell apps, but I know you can sell different things like music, audiobooks, movies, and shows. And again, all you have to do is click here to join the program, and that link is also in our website right here. We talked a little bit about the paid ads, and that's what it would sound like. You can also build websites to do what you want them to do. Here's another page speed tool, and this used to be called Google Webmaster Tools. Now it's a developer platform. But you can use a lot of the different tools here to make sure that your site's loading quickly, and that also helps with search ranking. You also want to make sure your site's secure. And one of the things you can do, and if you're working with me and we put your site together, it's going to be secure, as secure as it can be. No site is guaranteed hacker proof. That I'll guarantee. Even the NSA and the FBI have gotten hacked. And police stations right now all over the country are getting hit by hackers with ransomware, where they have to pay hackers a fee to get their site back, or else they lose all of it. So you want to make sure it's secure. You can go here to sitecheck.security.net and run any website through there, click scan website, and it'll let you know whether or not you're infected. Google Analytics is important. Again, we're going to look more at that next week. But for now, just know that you should have a Google Analytics account. It's all completely free, and it basically tells you what's going on when people visit your website. So sometimes they'll visit your site and just disappear real quickly. They don't really look at anything, and that's called a bounce. So they want to know what your bounce rate is, and generally you want it to be under 50%. If it's over 50%, you need to change some of the content because you're misleading search engines. And so somebody might be doing a search on, I don't know, Halloween costumes or something like that, and you sell candy, but they keep coming to your site saying, that's not what I wanted. You have to be careful and make sure you don't have the words Halloween costumes throughout your site too many places. And make sure you optimize it for Halloween candy, and that'll reduce the bounce rate. But these analytics will help you figure out what to do next and which direction to go in with your site. And next week is when we'll be talking more about that. This is Google Search Console. Same type of thing. This will give you an idea of what type of traffic you're getting when you're getting it. Again, it shows 2 pages with errors here. I think this was a development domain I was working on. But it'll give you a great deal of detail, and it will allow you to upload your own sitemaps, and that's important for having Google read your site correctly. The other thing it'll let you do if you have an account like this set up, which is totally free, is you can force Google to recrawl your site, and so many times. So more than once a day, but I would recommend doing it much more than that. But when it recrawls your site, it updates all the information on your page, and the more new content it finds that's aligned with your old content, the higher your page rank will go. So this can be one of the components that you utilize to improve your page rank. WooCommerce will be coming back to. This is connections. This is a way to do a business directory. So you can have a directory for any type of business that you want. For example, let's say we're going to do California sustainability consultants. So it could be a directory of sustainability consultants, and I could charge people to put their ads in here. But of course, I have to be able to show that it's getting to the right places, so they wouldn't want to bother paying for a listing. But it's a way that you can make money if you can get enough exposure. The other thing you could do is have a directory that you make it free for everybody to join, but ask them in exchange for joining it, they have to promote it also. So you provide tools. So you provide say you build the website, you put in this directory system, and you say, you're welcome to a free listing in our directory as long as you agree to promote your listing after you list it. And the way they can do that is A, B, and C, and you give them some tools to do it, where they're basically sending out a link from your website to all of their social media contacts, saying something like, hey, we're now listed in the XYZ directory. Visit our page to learn more about the services we provide. So you're paying them by you're basically giving them a free directory listing in exchange for advertising your site. Then you have ads on your site. So your job is to drive traffic to your site and get as many people using it as possible. But then once those people get there, then you're showing ads through your affiliate program or Google or anybody else that you're using. And if they click on any of those ads, then you get a commission. So you're leveraging the free listing to increase your site traffic to the point where you have enough traffic coming through that you can make money off of it. Another one here is Abe Books, but I believe they were bought by Amazon a couple years ago. So I don't know if they're still operating independently, but it looks like the commission rate is 5% for books through Abe Books, and here we're looking at 4.5%. So not much difference. I used to love Abe's because they were an independent, one of the last big independent booksellers. And I always try to support locals and people doing it on their own when they can. And they did it right for a long time, so much so that Amazon bought them. This is a cool platform for real estate. So if you wanted to be a web developer or offer a service for real estate listings, you can create a website where people can come in and pay to put their listings there. And I can show you how this one works because I have a client that I did this for. Let's see here. So this is a site that I built for this property management group in San Francisco. They have more than 5,000 properties, and you can come in and search by property type. So let's say San Francisco apartment rentals. And it shows a map of all the places that they have available. When there's more than one in a building, they cluster it. That's what those icons were. You can customize all the icons yourself. So these were just standard icons, and I made my own that have like a 1B for 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Of course, there are no 3 bedrooms. It's shocking to me what is going on in San Francisco. Trying to even just find a 3-bedroom apartment. In any case, let's see if there's even any listed here. No, they don't even bother with 3 bedrooms anymore. And like I said, these people have 5,000 properties. But you can come in and see more details, so you can click in, put up pictures and images. So this is an example of what you can do with WordPress. And they pay me monthly to maintain the site and also fees for upkeep. But you can also do it where you own the site and just call it, Houses for Sale Sacramento, and work with independent realtors to give them a place to put up their listings. Then it also works with MLS, which is the big national listing service that, as my understanding from talking to realtors, they pretty much monopolized everything. But this will integrate. So if you had products or houses listed on the MLS market, you can see here what they do. So you can integrate the MLS listings by map or ID or whatever, and it'll show all those listings for that area in your website. And if you have a real estate license, you might even be able to work out a deal where you're getting some type of commission off of the real estate. You probably have to have a license, though. I'm not sure. It's not my field. But as you can see, just lots of ways that you can make money with WordPress. GoDaddy, where many of you have been registering your names, you can also become a GoDaddy affiliate. So if you become an affiliate and you do a lot of things with the web, like this would actually be probably a good thing for me, but I just don't do it. On my own website, I could say, hey, and even for this class, I already have an affiliate account for GoDaddy, and I have an affiliate account for Green Geeks, and I have an affiliate account for ISO. And I could have sent out a big list of links and said, hey, if you want to register domains, do it here, here, and here. If you want to create a hosting account, do it here, here, and here. But that feels kind of cheesy to me, because then I'm looking like I'm promoting myself, and I'm not really here teaching these classes for that purpose. But there's nothing wrong with it. So if you were in the field where you might have people coming to your site and registering domains, then it'd be perfectly fine to set up an affiliate account with them. MailPoet is great for promotion, and we're going to talk about this next week or the week after when we get more into social media. But I wanted to bring it up early before you set up accounts with, say, MailChimp or with Constant Contact. Those are the two big mailing services, and they're fine, they work. But with MailPoet, it's free up to 200 subscribers. And then if you pay $90, I think it is, you have unlimited subscribers. What happens with Constant Contact and also with MailChimp is they'll let you have the services for free up to a certain number, but then once you get over that 200, they start charging crazy amounts of money. So not too bad up to like 5,000, but as you get over that, like I had one list that had 17,000 people on it, and I think I was paying $200 a month for Constant Contact. And I thought that was crazy, so I found MailPoet, paid $90 once, and now that same subscriber list is up to 27,000 people. And that's for a different association that I work with. But that's working out very well. And you can also integrate it right into WordPress. So you can create a post that'll automatically go into your next newsletter, and you can send newsletters out to different people based on different categories of topics. And I just, for example, found out today that Cow Recycle, who runs, in case you're unaware, they oversee all the recycling programs for the state of California. And they're a government agency, obviously. They're the one that set our diversion rates, and they have these recycling market development zones that are promoting new businesses that use post-consumer materials to make products. And they can give out loans and that sort of thing to help these businesses succeed, because they're helping the state reach these goals of having less go into landfills. So I just found out today that a system I set up that was built on MailPoet as the newsletter component is going to be now promoted by Cow Recycle out to all of their recycling market development zones, and it's going to be sent internally to the entire Cow Recycle staff, which I think is somewhere near 15,000 people. And I did all of that with just MailPoet and a combination of some of the tools that I'll be showing you in the next couple of classes, mostly on outreach. So we need to get our sites up first, and then we'll be ready for optimizing them for search engines, and then using social media and digital outreach to promote them. That's an example of greeneducation.us. We already talked about that. Here's Paid Memberships Pro. So this is another content platform that you can use with WordPress. And it says Paid Memberships Pro, but that doesn't mean you have to pay for it. What that means is that you can have paid memberships on your site. This is completely free to use. Like most WordPress plugins, they have a free version, and then if you need more services than they offer in the free version, then you can pay to upgrade to a higher version. So you can see all the different things you can do with it. Lots of payment gateways. I tend to just use PayPal. It works fine for me. But I've heard some government agencies aren't able to use PayPal for some reason. It's just a policy thing. So you can also use like authorize.net, tends to work well for even government agencies. But what you can do with this is create content that people pay for. So you can, they provide different widgets and things that you can put in the site. But then all you do is you set it up, and whenever you go to create content, you can choose what membership level is required to read that content. So for example, say you have a trade organization or an association, like I'm a member of several like that. What you would do is set up the association page, and you can start putting content and news and archives and resources there, and maybe show an excerpt. But if somebody clicks to read the whole thing, then they have to pay. Similar to like the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Sacramento Bee, any of the McClatchy properties for publishing. If you go to one of those and you can read a few articles, like if I go to the Sacramento Bee, I think I'm allowed 5 articles per month or something like that. There are ways to get around that. Because of actually the privacy browsers and things that I use, they can't track me. So when I hit my 5, all I have to do is basically close my browser, reopen my browser, then I can do 5 more the same night. So those aren't foolproof, but generally they're good, and that's how they can make money. And I don't do that all the time. If I were reading it that much, I would pay. But I don't, so I just know that tool works if I ever need it. But you can do the same type of thing, but more secure. So suppose, for example, you have a 10-part class, and the first session might be an introduction. Then you could say, put that class online, make the introductory page available to the public, and when they go to look at the next section and take the quizzes and all that, everything that comes after, that could be your paid version. And to be able to access that, they have to pay a subscription fee. And then I like subscription fees because it's those, once you build them up, that's all you really have to do. So if you're creating content or you have a platform that people are using, you can charge them once, but then you're not going to get recurring revenue. And you might get it through big swings where you get all your sales in the spring and then nothing in the fall, or vice versa, or maybe all of it comes in around Christmas. But if you charge a subscription fee, it's easier to plan, and you know what kind of revenue you're going to have coming in. That's why almost every software company has switched from selling CDs or downloaded software on your machine to selling web-based subscription fees. So you'll notice it used to be with Microsoft Office, you'd walk into a computer store and or a retail store, and you'd buy a disk with Microsoft Office on it. You come home, install it on your machine, and there it is. Nowadays, what you do is you pay a subscription fee. So Microsoft doesn't have to worry about somebody, say, paying $300 in 2019 and deciding they don't need anything better until 2029. And then Microsoft just lost 10 years of revenue. Obviously not a good model for them. And that's what Adobe did too. So up until a few years ago, you could buy and download Adobe products and run them locally on your machine. Now it's completely subscription based. And that's better for Adobe because they can plan and budget and they know how much revenue they're going to have coming in. Then all they have to do is build up the subscriber base instead of constantly gaining new customers or selling actual hard pieces of software that then have to be mailed or downloaded. All right, so that's Paid Memberships Pro. There's a YouTube partner program, and you might hear about YouTube publishers making tons of money, but it takes a while. I mean, first of all, you have to reach certain qualifications, and then once you've got, so you can see here that they want you to have at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 of valid public watch hours. So if you start putting content up on YouTube, if you build followers and get some subscribers and they're actually watching your content, then you can use your same Google AdSense account to make money off of YouTube. There are people making millions off of YouTube, but there are also people making millions being actors and professional basketball players too. It's not the average person that's making that kind of money, but it is available to you if you have content and things that you'd like to put out there. LearnDash is a learning management system. This is a good one for putting up classes. So you can put classes up on your website and then charge people to take the class, and they'll pay, they come in, they do the whole thing online. So if you have a training program that you're doing even for corporations, and there's an online component, you can use LearnDash, and there are several other LMS options as well. So any of them would probably work depending on the features that you need. Then you can set up your own training system. People come through and you can charge them by session or charge them by program, anything that you like. And yeah, even some major universities are using this right now. And that's green education again. So that gives you an idea of all the different ways that you can make money through a website. And these are all different forms of e-commerce, many of them building off of other programs where you don't have to put up your own content, you don't have to put up your own products. You can do listings here. You can also have paid subscription services for, say, newsletters or webinars. So you could do online training and charge per webinar, and then you can put those webinars up as content on your website and have people pay a subscription fee. You can also do newsletters. So one of the systems that I recently created is let me see if I can, and again, this isn't promoting my system. I don't think it would be a good option for anybody in these classes so far. I want to show it though as an example of what you can do with some tools that are available right in WordPress. But we built our own system. Let's see if I have it up here. Now, I thought I might have put the let's see. We're still working on this site. I was looking for a graphic I did. It's on another computer. Here we go. So this is basically what can be done. There are different types of tools that you can use in WordPress to pull something like this together. But we wrote our own code because we felt like each of the tools in WordPress weren't functioning well together specifically, and that each was lacking in one feature or another. So we built those features in to make it a more comprehensive system. But even with things that are available to you in WordPress, if you're willing to put them together in the right order and sequence, you can source content from all over the world, really, anything that's on the web. And every day you've got Google going out and working for you and crawling the web looking for content that matches the content that your customers want. Then you put it through a filter. It'll come in and create a post, but it'll create it in a draft form. And it'll automatically categorize things. You can set the whole thing on autopilot. Like I mentioned, one of the other systems that I built about, I think it was about 8 months ago, that has between 350,000 and 400,000 subscribers. I think it was around 385 the last time I looked. But it was, I don't have to touch it. I haven't had to log in once since I built the system. It all runs on its own. But if you want to be more selective than that, you can have the content filtered. It comes into your system. You go in and review it in the back and see if it's the content that you want to publish. And then if so, you just hit publish, literally. You click the word publish. And then it goes out and you have a target audience. So we're sending out right now for one client in Southern California, I'm feeding content out to 26 cities. So we have 26 city Facebook pages and plus LinkedIn accounts, Twitter accounts, some YouTube, Pinterest. And when you hit this button, it sends all that content out to unlimited numbers of platforms. So I can send content out to literally 10,000 Facebook pages with one click. And then it also, based on category, goes to newsletters. So we have newsletters on different subject matter that's public facing, and we have newsletters on other subject matter that's going out to more corporate people for the different types of interests they might have. And so all of this happens automatically, including the newsletters being sent. So just by coming in here and pushing one button, you're feeding out to thousands and thousands of platforms and into all these different newsletters. And that's how you can build up a mailing and marketing list and advertise your own products. So we'll talk more about this in our session on outreach and social media. And I'll show you how to use a combination of things like MailPoet and Google and some other tools to create a system like that in your own WordPress page. All right, so with that, we'll spend the rest of the time talking about WooCommerce because it's, again, probably the most powerful, well, I know it's the most powerful platform out there for WordPress. And I'm going to close some of these just to assist with our page load speeds while we're working on that. And then I'll show you what WooCommerce can do. And WooCommerce can be used for lots of different things, including setting up like an Amazon type account. So it integrates with a lot of the different platforms that we talked about, or you can use it standalone on your site. So let me log in here first on our conference reg site. Bear with me here. Oh, I need to open up my password manager, which is where. Sorry, as I mentioned, I'm on my Mac tonight, so not all the tools I usually have on hand are here. And it looks like. Huh. Okay, I'm going to need to open a different browser, I think, because it doesn't look like it has my my Norton password manager here. Bear with me just a second. And I'm going to pause my screen here for a second. Okay. Give me just a second to log in there. And in case any of you haven't used the password manager yet, you might want to check out something like Norton. It's completely free and it transfers across platforms. So if you're using Firefox or Chrome or any other standard browser, Brave even, which is the new one that I'm using most of the time, but don't have set up completely on my Mac yet. From within any of those, you can log in on your password manager and it'll give you everything you need, regardless of the browser you're on. Do that later. All right, so I'll show my screen again here. So this is our dashboard for the conferencereg.com website. So I just logged in there as an admin, and I don't have WooCommerce installed here yet. I wanted to wait until this class to do that. So I'm going to show you how you would get started to install WooCommerce, and I'll give you a feel for the different things you can do with it. So I'm going here to plugins, add new. And if any of you have some plugins in mind that you'd like to install, but you're not quite sure about it, just send me a list. I think I'm an admin on most of your websites. So send me a list and let me know, and I'll be happy to add it for you. So I'm going to search on WooCommerce now. And you'll see all the different things that come up. So this gives you some idea of how prevalent it is. This is WooCommerce itself, which was recently taken over by Automatic. That's relevant because Automatic is the company that is owned by the person who created WordPress. So he's a pretty cool guy. He open sourced the whole thing. That's why we can all use WordPress for free. But he gets paid for consulting and building apps and that sort of thing still. So it's nice to know that WooCommerce is run by WordPress. They're basically one company now. so you don't have to worry about WooCommerce going away or losing support or something like that. And if you take a look at just what I found here by putting in that word, WooCommerce, 6,856 items, 191 pages. So those probably aren't all direct hits on WooCommerce, but they'll have something to do with it. And you can see all the different things that are available for add-ons. So I mentioned MailChimp, so you can build a mailing list. Of course, you can do it with MailPoet too. Here are all of these different payment platforms, WooCommerce, Google Analytics integration, gift cards. So just about anything you've ever thought about doing or seen somebody do on an e-commerce site, you can do it yourself with WooCommerce. So first we'll just install WooCommerce itself. So I just did the search, it comes up, I'm going to install now. You can see it has over 5 million active installations, so pretty popular. And don't be afraid to install your own plugins at any time. You know, if we've started a site for you and you're interested in something, now's the perfect time to play with it and get comfortable with it and learn how to use it. So just go to plugins, add new, and do a search on anything that interests you. And most of these things, once you install them, they're fairly intuitive. You don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to know anything. They'll walk you right through how to set them up, as you're about to see here. So I installed it. That was that simple. And activate. Now, I should mention too, best practices are to do a backup before you install new things. I have this all set up to back up every day automatically, so I'm not too worried about it. And even if I weren't, one of the things I like about WordPress is if you go to install a plugin and it doesn't work, it's not going to crash your system like Joomla and Drupal used to do. Then that's what would happen if those are other content management systems like WordPress. And if you have a Joomla site, for example, and you install a plugin, a module, they have different names for different things over in Joomla world. But if you install one and it's not compatible, it can crash your entire site. And you have to figure out what did it. Obviously, it's usually obvious that it was the last thing you installed. So you can then go in and deactivate it from the server side to hopefully get your site back online. So when you first start with WooCommerce, they want to know where your store is based. It's still default UK for now, but obviously you can pick United States here and fill out your address, your own state, what currency you want. Do you plan on selling physical and digital products? Just physical, just digital? May as well leave it at both. Keep your options open. And if you say you'll be selling products or services also in person, then that's important because they can help you keep track of inventory using things like Square. So I'm going to pick a state here, but I'm not going to do much more. Hopefully it'll let me keep going. Yeah, they want that. So what they're going to want to know is payment, shipping, all these different things that would be part of the, setting up your system. So they want to know all of this first so that they can help you calculate tax rates and that sort of thing. I'm going to say not right now and see if it'll just let me go through. All right, I can always come back here to run the setup again if I wanted to, but I can just go in here and start to show you how things work. So under WooCommerce, you've got products and you've got the WooCommerce. These go together. And within WooCommerce, you usually want to start with settings. And of course, they want me to run through it again to do the whole setup wizard. I'm not going to do that right now. See if they'll let me get away with that. Sometimes they force things. Here under coupons, you can create a coupon. And so if you wanted to sell something at a discount, which is also a great sales tactic, you can create generate a coupon code, write what the description is, or you can call it whatever you want. So say I wanted to call it something like Mobius, say VIP 20 might be a 20% off coupon. So I can put what that's going to be. And then the tactic is you price up the content on your website. And you can say if it's a fixed cart discount, like a certain dollar amount, fixed product discount, or percentage. So I'm going to say percentage discount, and this here I'd put 20. And does it include free shipping? Sure, why not? Since I'm not shipping anything anyway. And you can put an expiration date if you want to. So get it while it's hot. And then you can put usage restrictions. So do they have to spend a certain amount? Is it individual use only, or can it be used in, they call it stacking, typically with other coupons? You can have it apply to certain products only, or exclude products, or any product category, or exclude category. And allowed emails even if you wanted to. Excuse me, 1 second. My throat gets a little dry. So those are the types of things you can do, and also set usage limits. So you can say it's up good for 20% off up to a certain amount, or up to a certain number of items, or a certain many users per user. Pardon me. So that gives you an idea of how coupons work. You can see orders as they come in. They have shipment tracking, all these different things that you can build in that are almost identical to what you would see in Amazon. You can run reports. So they're still showing our sales in pounds here, but you can see how much your sales have been over the last 7 days, month, previous month, or previous year. You can set up custom dates, sales by product, by category, coupons that have been redeemed. And if you're selling digital products, you can track customer downloads. And I'm a big fan of digital products for obvious reasons, but mostly because you don't have to create anything, you don't have to ship anything. There's just a lot less cost. So if you're selling something like images, graphics, books, anything like that that can be done electronically, you're having a lower impact on the environment, and it's more efficient for everybody involved. Back here, that's just the settings again, where they're walking us through some things. So you don't even have to go through the normal setup. But here's where you'd want to come in, and you can skip the wizard and just walk through each of these tabs. So if we said here our correct country would be United States, and we can go straight here to California. The zip code, that helps. Do I want to sell to all countries? It depends on what you're selling. I generally like to stay in the United States or Canada, depending, again, on what you're selling, because you don't want to get involved in a lot of international type issues like GDPR, even though we generally try to stay compliant with that. I'm still going to say just United States. And then shipping locations, you got to be careful. I've noticed even on Amazon, they'll have specials where they'll ship to anywhere except Catalina Island or something like that. Your customer's default location, here use geolocate, so it'll tell you where they are generally. And then here's where you can even set up your tax rates. So you can say, yes, I need to charge taxes, and it'll ask you what your percentages are based on where you live. And that can change a lot, depending even on what town or county you're in and what type of products you're selling. Like, I know there's a difference in tax between El Dorado County and Sacramento County. And there's a difference in tax between Placerville inside the city limits and Placerville outside the city limits. So you have to be careful and make sure you know what you're talking about. When to calculate coupons. So if you want to apply them with the first full price, second coupon to be discounted, etc. So you can see they've thought about just about everything. And here, obviously, would be the US dollar. Whereas, okay, where you want your currency position, number of decimals. And I like to save on every tab just to be safe. Some of them you don't have to. You can do all the tabs first. But I've seen them before too, where when I click to the second tab, it come back to the first one. If I didn't save it, it's gone. So better off hitting that save button. Here's where you can pick a shop page. So I don't think I have one set up yet for this. Let's see. If not, we'll make one. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate my tab. Go into Pages, Add New. And we'll just call this WooCommerce Demo. Okay, and I'm not going to bother with Elementor or anything like that right now. I just want to get a page set up. And you also have to be careful if you're using a page builder to know how that might respond with the automated features of WooCommerce. So here now I can select that page. I might have to refresh. Yeah, because those pages were loaded before I created it. WooCommerce Demo. Redirect to cart page after successful addition. Sure, why not? Weight unit, we'll go to pounds, inches. Enable product reviews. So decide whether or not you want to do that. It can be good to promote if you get good reviews, but somebody can also use it for bad intent. Show verified owners. So again, just like Amazon, if it knows somebody bought a product, then they'll be listed as verified owner when they write the review. You can say reviews can only be left by verified owners. And then star ratings should be required, not optional. Enable star rating on reviews. So you can see all the different things that you can do there. And we're going to go into inventory and downloadable products too. But again, before I do anything like that, I want to make sure I've saved that information. So here's where you can control inventory if you wanted to manage stock. So suppose again, I'm selling backpacks and these are backpacks that I have somebody making for me or something like that. Then I can tell it when to let me know there's low on stock, what I want it to be. Do I want to still show out of stock items? What do I want to show there? Here's downloadable products. Do I want to force a download or just give them a redirect to a page where they can download if they want to? And do I want to require them to have to log in before they can download? Which means that they have to log in on a customer account as opposed to just going to a page where they can download it themselves. And you usually want to make things as easy as possible for your customer, obviously, but that also opens you up to more pirating, so to speak, if you're doing digital stuff. So say you produce your own music or something like that, and you're creating your own recordings, charging people to download those, they could send around that link and let anybody download it. But of course, once they download it, what's to prevent them from sharing the content directly anyway? And even if you make them log in to download, what's to prevent them from sharing their login information? So it has its ups and downs and certain limitations. It probably reduces the amount, reduces the likelihood somebody's going to come across your page and just start downloading your stuff without paying. But it also gives another hurdle for the customer to jump through. If you have to pay taxes, then you have to decide if you're going to have the prices inclusive of tax or exclusive of tax, and then calculate tax based on the customer shipping address. So if somebody lives in West Virginia versus California and they order something online, they pay different tax rates based on, I guess, where they are. So that can make a big difference. And then you could also say excluding tax or zero tax, or you just price them up yourself and cover the tax on your own. And you want to show it as itemized or a single total. Most people show it as itemized. And you might need to in California. None of the things that I sell have taxes, so I don't have to worry too much about that. But look it up and make sure that you're doing the right thing. Somebody at California Capital could probably help with that. But if not, your bookkeeper or the Secretary of State. Here are your shipping options. So you can set up shipping if you want to, and you can even tie this in to, like, if you have a FedEx account or something like that, to make it a lot easier. And I'm not going to go through setting up the whole thing, but you'll get an idea of how you can do it. Just add your shipping zone and what you want to call it, and set your regions. Then here are the options. You want them to enable the shipping calculator on the cart page, hide shipping costs until an address is entered, default customer billing address, etc. And then shipping classes might be the different type of products. So if you have something that's fragile, you might create a class for that that's different than shipping, say, a hard copy book that's not likely to be damaged or need any more insurance or something like that. Here's where you set up how you want to collect payments. One that's really easy to do is this PayPal thing. So if you don't have a PayPal account and you want to be able to take payments online, I recommend setting one up, and I recommend doing it soon because it can sometimes take a little while depending on your situation. The last 3 I set up were for nonprofit organizations, and they seemed like they took forever because we had to verify a whole bunch of things. Ever since 9/11, it's trying to do things online, especially with anything related to banking, has completely changed. So it used to be you could go out and even set up a PayPal account in minutes for any type of business or nonprofit. Now, the last few times I've set one up for nonprofits, they've needed to mail me different pieces of material that then I have to verify bank deposits to the penny and confirm that it's me, and then show my nonprofit operating agreements, that sort of thing, before they would confirm. Accounts and privacy. You can see all the different options here. You can set up different email messages based on what happens. So if somebody places an order, you can set up an email that goes to, say, me, telling me that there's been a new order. If somebody cancels an order, I can get that message. If there's a failed order, if somebody tried to pay and it didn't go through or something like that, I can get that message. These are all the messages that go out to customers. So you can tell them if the order's on hold because you're out of stock, processing the order, completed the order, refunded, customer invoice, note, all of these things. And so then you set up who it's from, the from address. So lots of little things you can pick and choose, and there's a lot of options there. But as you can see, nothing that's that takes coding. You just have to read and figure out which ones you want to do. And then here's where you set up your pages. So you can have a cart page, checkout page, account page, terms and conditions page, all of these. And I don't have these set up right now, but I can set them up and say which ones I want to use for this. I should go back and do that to complete this, but I don't need to just for this demo site. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. Let's take a look at what it's like to add a product and what you can do with that. So this is all stuff you just need to do once. And then once you have that all set up, then you're good to go. You don't have to come back and do it again. That's when you start adding products. So here I can come in and see a list of products. There might be a couple of sample products there. And you can see the different types of products. So you're ready to start selling, create a product, or you can import if you have like an XML spreadsheet. These are all the different types of products that you can create. So we talked about subscriptions. So if you want people to provide services on a weekly basis, you can do that. weekly, monthly, or annual. You can do product bundles, bookings. So if you want to allow customers to book appointments, make reservations, or rent equipment. So let's say that you do have a consulting firm, you can put a calendar up and say, these are the times that I'm available, and I'd like to, they can come in and pay and reserve that time. And then for that time, you can either meet with them in person or do it online, whatever is most appropriate there. You could have a multi-vendor marketplace. So suppose you have different friends that are doing different things, and you want to provide a marketing platform for them, even for those services like I talked about. Let's say we did we created that directory for the consultants, then each consultant could be a vendor, and they have their own page on your site, and somebody can come in, hire that person through your website, contact them, and basically make the purchase or book the hours, and then you get a percentage from that. And then here are memberships, like we talked about for Paid Memberships Pro. So you can restrict content for a fee or free, however you'd like to do it. So let's go up to the Create Product. And I'll just call this Demo Product 1. So here's where you put your general description. So you can describe anything that you want about the content. I'm just going to put some gobbledygook here. And you can put in images if you want to, but there's also a special place over here for images. So you can show product images over here on the right and product gallery images. Usually the more images you have, the better. Think about the prices and the ads that you see on Amazon. So I don't think I have anything saved here. Let's, I'll just grab this one. All right, so that's our product image. And I should mention too, do that again. Make sure that you pay attention to your alt text. So this one was a Santa Cruz feedstock report. I think that was from the Central Coast Recycling Market Development Zone. And it's a report on feedstock that's available for manufacturers. So I'll show you what that's about in a minute. So there's our product image. You can set up your price here. I'll just use 75. And then you can say it's going to be on sale for 60 and say, schedule when that sale is going to be. Is it taxable or not? Is there shipping? Is it virtual or downloadable or a simple product? You can put in a SKU and enable stock management at the product level. And let's say that you're selling t-shirts or something with your company logo on it, or for a sports team or something like that, and you sell some of them at events and some of them online. You can even use this system with Square now, so that if you're using Square on your phone to collect credit cards out in the field somewhere, or next to a baseball field during a game, it'll subtract those shirts that are sold through Square from your inventory. So you don't have to worry about keeping inventory for what's available here online and then knowing what you have in hand. It'll know if you sold one online, and it'll know if you sold one at the field. So it'll keep your inventory up to date at all times in both platforms. And there again, in stock, out of stock, back order. You can pick whatever you like there. And you don't need a SKU, but some people use them, so it's helpful for that, obviously, for tracking. Weight in pounds if you're going to be doing shipping. Here's where you do cross-sells and upsells. So suppose you've got just use the t-shirt for the baseball team, and that's the standard. And then the upsell would be get the professional quality version that the pro baseball players wear. That might be an upsell. The cross-sell might be get a matching hat. So just like with any other type of retail, you want to bring them in, get for the product they came for, but then you want to see if you can upsell them to the next level or cross-sell them into other products as well that fit. Attributes. So this would be, let's say again, we're talking about shirts. So you can put in different sizes. Let's just do, I thought it might show options for that. Let's just go ahead and click add. Okay, so here, suppose you had shirts that are small, medium, large, extra large, double X, triple X, quadruple X. You can put in all of those values and separate them by the pike symbol, which is just above the backslash on your keyboard. A lot of people don't know what a pike is. And that's not an insult. It's just a lot of people don't know what a pike is. You never use it for anything. So that's why I always point out where that's at. So if you look at the return key on your keyboard, your enter key, the key right above that is your backslash. And if you hit down shift, the second use of that is the pike. So it's not a lowercase l or a capital I, it's the pike. And that's where you can put in different attributes. There are also add-ons that make this a bit easier. So if you want shirt sizes, colors, that sort of thing, people can come in and pick from all of those. And it's easier to set up than trying to do this where you have to use pikes and that sort of thing. Purchasing note, where you'd want it in the menu, whether or not you want to enable reviews. And you can see some other options that you can get through additional plugins. So you can use the one-page checkout option if you don't want them to have to go through more steps. Get it all done on one page. Name your price. So this is one that, like they say here, useful for donations. If you've got a nonprofit, you might not want to limit the amount that people can give. So let them name the amount they want to give. Minimum and maximum allowed for quantities to be ordered. And then any other variations that you might want to include additional images for. And you see here they're offering browse all extensions. As we saw, there are hundreds and hundreds of extensions for WooCommerce to make it do almost anything you want it to. So the main description of the product would be here, but you put your short description here. And that's what would be used as the main ad. And then it would say something like learn more about this product. And you would click that, and that's where it would open up and show you all of this. You can also have product categories. So let's see here, I'll just call it baseball hats. Something like that, but making it up as I go here. You can create unlimited categories, and then and you can show products by category. So if we went back to the hiking example, I might have one page that has all hiking poles. I might have another page that shows all backpacks, another one with hiking shoes, and that's how they would categorize them. And then you can make a menu item that's based on a category that shows only things in that category. Okay, I think that covers the basics of creating a product. And then you can add additional images too for the gallery. So I've only got a couple here, and none of them are really appropriate. I'm just going to leave that empty for now. But you could put several images, and again, the more the better. And then you can put in tags, and that's going to help people find the product too. So let's suppose I sold baseball hats for every team in the league. Then one of my tags might be Giants, and I would add that tag to this particular baseball hat. But I could have tags that exist for every team in the Major League Baseball, so that when people came in and did a search on Giants baseball hat, I would have a chance of coming up on the SEO. So I'll go ahead and publish that product. And you can go here to view. But what I like to do is, before I do something like this, I'll just duplicate. And that way I don't lose my spot and have to come backwards. So if I want to view the product, that's pretty messy right now, but that's because we didn't optimize this image in any way. But you can see here, here's the original cost. It's on sale for $60. And again, I would control all of this CSS, the style. So that would look a lot better. This image would be crisper. If you can see how small that image is. That's why it doesn't look very good. But you can set what you want the size of the image to be as well. Let's go back out to that. Add to cart, I can choose how many I want. And here, if we had reviews, that's where those would show. This is where the description shows. And this you can ignore. These are just their bottom widget positions that are by default filling with these. But those normally won't show up on your store. Now, if I've got these two, I want to add them to my cart. And I didn't create a cart page, as you might recall. So it just defaulted back to the main page there. You remember back here in the setup, it wanted me to create pages for the cart and for the checkout. Then once you did that, then it would go to the cart. And I also didn't put in my PayPal information. I'm not going to go through all of that. That takes a little bit of time. But if you use the basic PayPal option, then all you have to do is put in your PayPal email address. So when you set up a PayPal account, you'll have a primary email address that's used for that account. And that's all you really need for anybody to send you money through PayPal. They can go in and enter that information. And you can also set it up so people can pay you through your website with that, and especially for something like WooCommerce products. So we talked about categories. That would be here. So you can set up all of your categories as you like. And if you're going to do that, it's good to organize them as subcategories too. So we might have a category called sports clothing or something like that, or baseball clothing, baseball, I don't know what you'd call it. And then baseball hats would be a subcategory. And that's just for your overall taxonomy website, website taxonomy. And then you can upload images too related to that, so that even the category has its own branding image. So every time people see that, they know they're in the right place. And that's where you'd set up the parent category. Here under attributes, well, it wants me to run through, but you can create attributes. And again, that's all about colors, sizes, that sort of thing. Anything else that you might want to associate with the product. So let's go ahead and here, let's see what they wanted us to set up. We'll see what pages are needed so that we can walk through what that might look like. Okay, so that's good. Here are our products, tax, shipping, payments. Here's, okay, so PayPal's here. I can manage that. And I do have my email address there, so that should work. I didn't realize I'd already put that in. Though I don't think that's the one associated with my PayPal account. I probably just put that in as my admin address. But we'll try it anyway and just take a look. You can create, see down here is where it might want me to validate some things that I didn't want to go through all of that process, but it might work for the basics. Yeah, and then it wants me to put in my API, which I don't have set up for this account. So I won't be able to do that. But you would have an API username and password signature, and that way it knows that it's talking to the right account whenever somebody logs in through here. So if you set it up and you need some help with that, just let me know and I can help you. We'll get online and do it together. But I don't need username and password, so don't send me any of that for a PayPal account. It's not necessary. And we can do it online together where just you enter your password, but I'll walk you through all the rest of it. And down here is status. So this will tell you what's going on with your account overall. If you're having any issues, you can come down and see if there's anything that's not in green. It'll let you know if you have any difficulties based on your site setup. We're all looking pretty good here, except for what we just talked about. So we should have a page set up for cart, checkout, my account, terms and conditions. And once we set all those pages up, then it would let us go through the process of making a purchase. And when you have your own products or Amazon, sometimes what I've seen people do, it seems like you wouldn't make much money off of it, but I've seen it work. If you go into say a place like Sam's where they've got a big discount on something, you might be able to buy something there that you see on Amazon for twice as much. And people will purchase a bunch of them at Sam's. I know because I've seen people in front of me checking out with like 35 sweaters. And I say, what are you doing with all those? They say, well, I resell them on eBay because I get a better price here at Sam's than people are willing to pay. And so you can buy your own stuff and sell it direct if you want to do that. Or again, set up the Amazon type affiliate program. And even through, I want to check something here. WooCommerce was supposed to have an Amazon tool, and I haven't tried it. So let me see if we can find it. So we just did a search here on WooCommerce and Amazon. Now here's an integration, multi-vendor integration, Amazon Pay. That's different. I think that's allowing people to use Amazon Pay to pay for products through. WP Lister Lite for Amazon. So this is listing, this is listing products from WordPress on Amazon. That's not what I was looking for. So this would take your WooCommerce products and put them into Amazon, but people would actually come back and pay through you in that case. So when you look on Amazon and you say it's provided through a third-party vendor, you would be that third-party vendor. So you get all of the profit except for the amount that you pay to Amazon. But I believe there's a way, and it might be this, but I'd want to double check that before I promote it, where you can, no, see, they're converting a WooCommerce store into an Amazon and eBay store. And it's not been tested lately. Well, it's updated 3 months ago, so it's probably still good. WordPress happened to just go through an update again today to 5.3. So this may not be an issue. That's compatible up to 5.2, but they need a little time to catch up. So here they're saying full catalog sync of native WooCommerce extension for integrating Amazon and eBay. Okay. So free to download and install, but the integration service requires a monthly subscription. See pricing plans here. I don't like those kinds of things. But what I usually do myself is if it's open source coding, I just take a look at it and make it work without needing a subscription fee. And that's legal. There's nothing wrong with that if it's open source. That's what open source means. That looks like their pricing starts at $30 a month. And they might offer more things that they've already coded in, but I suspect there's a way to do that without needing to pay them. I'll look that up and see what I can find before the next class, because we'll be talking a bit more about optimization there. And here again, a WooCommerce multi-vendor marketplace. What I was looking for is something that shows Amazon products through the WooCommerce platform. But it looks like most of these are more about showing WooCommerce products out on Amazon. So you're using Amazon to sell rather than your own website to sell. But you can see all the different options here. Again, thousands of them. Oh, here we go. This is what we're talking about. So this is Amazon Shop for drop shipping and affiliation. So what you would do with this is the one where you can install it on your website and show the different products from Amazon that you might be interested in selling on your website. And so when they make the purchase, they're making it through Amazon, not you, and you're not responsible for any type of fulfillment obligations. Amazon would send it out. Amazon's the person that is the group that they pay. And so you don't have any of those types of responsibilities. But of course, they're making most of the profit as well. So that's an overview of WooCommerce. Let me see if anybody has any questions. If so, now would be a good time to ask those. We've got a minute or two left here. And I'm going to open the question panel. Not seeing any. Okay, well, let me know when you'd like to set up another appointment. I see that most of the people on here I've been working with closely over the last few weeks. So just get in touch. If we don't have something booked already, we'll get something booked very soon. And with that, I'll go ahead and bring it to a close, but look forward to being back in touch with all of you one-on-one. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Trina. Talk soon.